has at fourth place. At fourth place, he has that Mars and Mangal. So father says that
was
yes,
Mangalik in that
Mangalik. So father says that it is not possible to marry because eventually, right, the girl will die. And this is actually the reason that very you can say blind belief at the same time humor, because he is frustrated with that why actually I'm the victim of this horoscope.
True, true.
So I think element
So
of humor
that
is
is
there.
where we can actually focus on the characterization, in his novel.
Yes.
Right.
Here I think some
So-
particularly important points are there.
Yes. He respects his characters, for depiction. Of course, before that, he respects his characters, whether it is, in case of Swami and Friends, or maybe the Bachelor of Arts, or the Guide. So he respects his character. He is more close to them.
Right.
He could be more friendly to them, right? And so he's able to characterize them very well. And so one more element actually we can touch there, that is, his character move from fantasy to reality, from immaturity to maturity. In case of the Guide, if we see, then this is how, Raju realizes, the importance of being, loneliness and all that, right? And in case of certainly the Bachelor of Arts also, Chandran in the beginning he falls maybe immaturely, in Malti's love, but in the end, he realizes that maybe my love for my own mother, is more important, more essential rather than
family,
that,
especially
right?
for family.
So he marries and he falls in love with his wife. So this is, we can say that the immaturity towards the maturity, fantasy to reality, certainly. So we can say that his characterization is of a more common Indian class,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Just remember another point regarding why actually his characters are so common and why actually they are very simple. The reason is very simple. Actually, one of his interviews, R.K. Narayan says like this. He says like this: if you want to take my interview, don't switch on your tape recorder. Don't ask me direct question. Don't ask me to explain my work. I will ask you the question and you have to give the answer. Just chat with me. So he believes that if you really want to know, I mean, this is the character of Haki Narayan, and that is why, right, as we have discussed, that autobiographical element is there. So I think from that perspective, he thinks like that. He thinks that yes,
Exactly.
whatever the right, what would be the character in his novel must be very straight, simple, and actually to the very common life of India.
Yes, and that is where we can say that he makes his characters more memorable, more unique, and realistic. Realistic in themselves. Because I mean, their struggle even with their own self makes the situation more real and interesting. For the spectators
Actually,
and readers.
how unique and memorable. For example, Waiting for Mahatma. In Waiting for Mahatma, as you know it very well, Mahatma is a fictitious character. He becomes the character. He becomes the character in novel, though he is not he's not there at all. But he becomes the part of the entire novel.
Right.
And at the same time, right, it's a very interesting thing to know that how uniqueness in his character, like Nagaraj, for example, the world of Nagaraj, and apart from many other characters are there, they are actually unique in their own ways.
True. So we have some critics on R.K. Narayan here.
Yes.
Narayan respect his characters, according to Hilary Mantel. Narayan respect his characters, their created natures, and this is why he can make jokes about them and stay with them as a friend. Just now as we said that why his characters are so unique, so memorable, so realistic, because he is very good friend of his characters.
He said, Narayan says that characters, right? Characters they are facing the crisis. Generally, it is actually seen. Almost all the 17 novels, if you go through them, almost all the characters they are facing crisis, and there is only one way out: is that they resolve it or they just live with that. So I mean, at the end of novel, the problem is that maybe you are not able to get a suitable ending, because ending is something which is left on the reader's part.
True.
Those who are actually reading that novel, right? They actually they have to imagine what they have to do and how they have to do.
Yes. We have one more critic on K. Narayan, Chitra Sankaran. She says that with Narayan's works, the deceptive simplicity of his fiction very often obscures his superb capacity to blend traditional Indian modes with the English novel form.
Yes, a blend of Indian modes. Actually, he says that why R.K. Narayan is Indian, or you can say why Indianness is there, not because he is using Indian characters and Indian settings, but the way he's using the Indian myths and the way he's actually manipulate the entire thing with his character. This is actually you can say right Indianness in R.K. Narayan. Not only because he's using only characters, man, or you can say settings, because his knowledge regarding myth, knowledge regarding the Indian heritage is simply actually translate from this great actually heritage to common particular characters and try to magnify in his novel and all.
There is, we can say, his, extreme deep dedication, devotion, for the literature. Because, I can add here that after Hema's marriage, his daughter's marriage, actually, he thought of writing at least, the 1500 words every day. Because he used to visit, the US and, all these different regions. So there, he's very, very much dedicated, I mean, until end, he has not actually,
Even when he
left
was,
it.
I have read somewhere that when he was on his deathbed, at that time also he was asking for pen and some pages
Yes,
because
yes.
he wanted to write something,
Yes, yes.
but he couldn't.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So
I think-
that
And,
shows his
yes, yes.
passion for
Yes,
writing.
grandmother's tells, and then he had thought of writing about grandfather.
Grandfather.
But actually, he had just actually thought of a spectrum, but he could not actually, carry forth, unfortunately. And even these days, his own publication, actually Indian Thought publication, which he had started long back in Madras, is very well run by his own granddaughter. So these actually, the life moments, these life sketch, the autobiography is, very well shadowed, imprisoned, what you can say, the impressed in his writing, right? And so therefore, of course, he deserves, some of the greatest achievements. He's been honored with the Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and Sahitya Akademi Award for his masterpiece, the legendary work that is The Guide.
Oftenly it is actually said that R.K. Narayan has been criticized for his actually not giving that sort of superlative sort
Right.
of
Right.
characterization.
Sometimes
or,
he is even criticized for the simple, lucid language that he has used.
Yes.
True.
and that is why he has been considered as an Indian Chekhov.
Right.
The way he has
Yeah, yeah,
presented
yeah.
the entire
Indian
scenario of Indianness and all. Very important thing in one of his interview he said that somebody asked it, what is in right or what is in that story. People ask what is in that story. What is actually the end? What is end in that story? There is no climax. There is no climax at all. There is nothing. And where he is driving us means if you read R.K. Narayan's work of art, then at one point of time you feel that story is there already. It is actually interesting. But the problem is that there is no climax. Some events or you can say some particular situations ends at certain point in such a way that you cannot feel something like that. You cannot feel something like that. This is a climax is there. For example, like William Shakespeare's play, you see the heightened, very heightened sort of climax. The climax which is actually give you some sort of very goose pimple sort of feeling. But here it is very common, very lucid, very straight. I mean, very slowly everything is going, and he has been criticized for that. But I think for actually common reader, and for other people, right? I think R.K. Narayan is just like like Bhagavad Gita. His works of art is like Bhagavad Gita. To know about Indian tradition, to know something about Indian myth, to know something about Indianness, what is Indianness. And I think this is actually wonderfully written by all these
Yes,
things.
and these Indianness, very well seen in his common film for common people, The Guide, right, which was also actually performed by Broadway play in Hudson Theatre, and Malgudi Days,
Malgudi Days is so very famous even
I mean,
among children,
yes, yes.
Children can very easily read some short stories written by R.K. Narayan, for example, Swami and Friends. And the character of Swami is so very popular among children.
Yes,
Right? That
exactly,
I,
yes,
I,
yes.
I have seen children playing the role of Swami in streets.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly.
he is so much popular that is, as a writer, he has not even impressed the whole world. That means outside India, the other countries also. Even he is there in every street of India.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that
Yes,
shows what impact he has as a writer on Indian people. So
Thank you.
thank you very much, sir,
Yes.
for coming here
Thank you.
and for giving your precious time to us.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you all.
Thank you.